Sorc damage is just insane. The amount of mobility and damage this class can pump just feels so good and fun to play at the same time. In this build, we get an insane amount of dot pressure and a very huge burst combo all put together in one while having very good survivability. I'm going to show you how we put this beautiful build together, but first, let's take a look at those PvP clips. Alright, onto our skills. For our first skill here, it would be Critical Surge. This gives us Major Brutality, and while active, dealing critical damage heals you for 37 health. It's going to occur once every 1 second. Main way, the sword can heal, so pretty much a must for the build. Down ornaments here, this will be one of our ways to do a bunch of burst damages, procs off light attacks actually, and it also increases our max stamina by 8%, so it gives us this flat out more damage. The way this ability works is you can reactivate it at the cost of arms weapon, causing them to strike your target for 3700 physical damage every 0.3 seconds, and since you get up to 4, this can actually hit for about 16k. So it hits very, very hard and leads to some nasty burst combo. Running Hardened Ward here, this will be your flex spot for the build, by the way. I chose Hardened Ward just because I like the extra survivability it gives. Getting that 15k damage shield for 6 seconds is super nice. This does kind of tank our Magicka sustain sometimes, so you have to be very wary when you can use it. You can't spam it. That's why it is our flex spot. You can definitely sub this out. For our fighter guild ability here, Camouflage Hunter for the Major Savagery. We're not running Major Savagery on this build, so if you want it, you have to get rid of Hardened Ward for it. Crystal Weapon here, our main way to deal damage. You kind of just light attack and then Crystal Weapon, light attack, and Crystal Weapon is our main source of doing damage. Streak, our hard CC, and Streak pairs super well with Ice Comet. Since they cannot block Streak and it goes to roll, you Ice Comet and then Streak them just before the Ice Comet hits, and the Ice Comet will do full damage, resulting into some big damage. And then Elemental here, great way to get Major Breach, and every 7.5 seconds, the enemy is afflicted with the Burning Shield and Concussive status effect, giving us some extra damage. Haunting Curse here, very good burst skill, and this pairs really well with the Ice Comet Streak combo, since we can Streak, Ice Comet, and Curse all at the same time, resulting in a massive amount of damage in a short period of time. Vigor is a must for a Sorc. You need that heal very badly. Dark Deal, just staple of the Sorc, gives us an amazing amount of sustain. Also grants minor Berserk now and minor Force, which is nice, but it's not like needed. I definitely wish they did something else with the skill, because the Sorc needs more healing, not more damage. This class already does an insane amount of damage, but it just needs more healing. But a buff nonetheless is nice, since you get that 5% increased damage and that 10% critical damage. Hurricane, an amazing ability that the Sorcerer gets here. It deals a pretty good dot damage of 1400 physical damage every 2 seconds for 20 seconds, and the wing grows in size and increasing up to 100% more damage and up to 9 meters in size. This also grants us Major Resolve and gives us and increases our movement speed by 15%. And then Temporal Guard here, just a great way to get minor protection on our back bar and just make us a bit more tanky. But if you don't want to run Ice Comet, you can run Dawnbreaker or something like that. I just prefer Ice Comet because it pairs really well with Streak, and Haunting Curse combo. The Dawnbreaker is another option if you want to go for that instead. Onto our stat sheet here. We are a Dark Elf, and the reason why I chose to run a Dark Elf here is just for the extra max Magicka and stam pool it gives, along with the extra weapon spell damage, so it's super nice. If you choose to run Camouflage Hunter though, I think Khajiit would be better, since you are getting more use out of that crit passive. We also are running 44 points into max health, that is to get 33,000 max HP, with 20 points into stamina to get 23,000 max stamina. The reason why I chose to run my stats like this is because I just want the extra health for my shield that Hardened Ward gives, so that's why I have so much max health. But if you want, you can definitely drop more, you can definitely drop some max HP here, and just put more into stamina to get more overall damage, but I think the extra survivability is really nice. Our stats fully buffed up will be 1500 mag recovery, 1600 stam recovery, 5400 weapon and spell damage with 30% spell critical, with major savagery that goes up to 41% if you're wondering. And then spell penetration is 6400, with our physical and spell resistances being at 26k, 25k, and then 2k crit resist. For the Munus, we are running the Lady. I chose to run the Lady because I just want to be tankier. I feel like the main reason Sorc struggle is just because of the lack of tankiness, and the Lady helps with that. But you can switch this out to whatever you want. If you want more damage, you can go for more damage. If you want more survivability, then the Lady is the way to go. Or if you even want some more sustain, so you can pump more shields, the Atronach for the head recovery is also the way to go. I wouldn't go the Serpent, I would actually go the Magicka one, so you can spam more shields. That is the reason. Vampire Stage 3 is a must for every PvP build, and that is just simply because of the Undeath passive is just too good to pass out, reducing your damage taken by up to 30% damage based on your missing health. Is just so good, because when you're at 50% HP, you're already getting 15% damage reduction, which is just already insane, and you get more damage reduction the lower health you go. For our food here, Smoke Bear Haunch. I wouldn't recommend running any other food but Smoke Bear Haunch, since you do need that extra stamina and mana recovery to stay alive, in my opinion. If you are wondering about our damage here, we have 10% crit damage, and we have 10% crit healing, 21% healing done percent on our back bar. Now, how do we do damage? Well, we do damage through two ways. One is through Draken. Draken increases your damage by 330 but reduces your healing taken by 10%. This does affect you a bit, since Critical Surge will heal you on the front bar, but once again, most of the time you're healing on your back bar, and you need to LOS with a Sorc, so the healing taken sometimes hurts you, but it's just the damage increase is just too good not to run. It also gives you pretty good 2, 3, and 4 piece. It is sharpened with Absorb Stamina, and I recommend Absorb Stamina because it helps with your stam sustain and basically allows you to run 0 stam sustain whatsoever. Base Strand on our back bar, that is procced off using this ability right here, Elemental. Great little hot you get. Just add some more pressure to our opponent, since we're not going to be wanting to get too far away, but still keeping our distance with Streak. This basically is just a nice dot. It does 1800 flame, shock, or frost damage every 1 second, which is increased by 1% each time it deals damage, up to a maximum of 20%. This can occur once every 10 seconds. This is super good because this allows us to apply more consistent pressure. Our mythic for this build will be Sea Serpent Coil. I love this mythic personally. It just gives you so much damage, and gives you Major Berserk, which gives you the increase of 430 weapon and spell damage, and increases your damage done by 10%. The only problem with this mythic is it does sadly snare you, but once you get used to it, it's not that bad. But if you don't want to run this, you can run Death Dealer's Fate, which increases all your max stats while in combat, or you can run Mark and Ring. I personally will Death Dealer's Fate with this build, just simply because it gives you more max health, which helps your shield if you're not going to run Sea Serpent Coil. And then for the main set will be Rel. What this does is it adds crit, and then when your light and heavy attacks apply a stack of Harmful to your target for 5 seconds. Harmful winds deal 600 physical damage per stack every 1 second. This can stack up to 10 times, and the effect can occur once every half second. So you can get this up very quickly when just light and heavy attacking your opponent, and this will basically do at max stats will do 6,000 damage a second to a player. Fully buffed up, this basically does 8 grand a second. Just from this set alone, this does 8,000 damage a second to your opponent, which gives you some insane pressure. You just melt people when this thing's at full stack. You're doing 8,000 second alone from a set is just insane. And this is the reason why we also run Draken, is because Draken actually increases this damage. As you can see here, when I get rid of Draken, it goes down to 245. But with Draken up, it goes all the way up to 612 alone. That's without being buffed up at all. So the amount of damage you can pump is just incredible. And then for our headpiece will be a heavy reinforced helmet here with an armor. Once again, you can choose whatever you want here, either penetration or recovery for more sustain. I chose armor because I just want to be, once again, more tankier. But I feel like the Sorc lacks survivability, and I just want to pump as much armor as I can on this build. Our jewelry will be all infused weapon damage glyphs here. Back bar will be powered. Frost staff, very important. With a weapon damage enchant here, you can choose poisons instead. I recommend poisons, but weapon damage is for the extra healing when I'm auto attacking. This build is actually super hard to play in my opinion, since you cannot drop your light attacking. You have to be light attacking constantly when you're switching bars. So even on your back bar, you have to be weaving in light attacks all the time against your opponent, or you will lose your rel stacks and your damage will drop by quite a bit. So just want to make sure you're always light attacking 100% of the time on this build. For our piece, we're running 1 light and 1 heavy. On our waist will be our light piece, our heavy will be our helmet, and then 5 medium on our chest, arms, hands, legs, and boots. All impen here. So we're running 6 impen, 1 reinforced, and they're all prismatic glyphs. Onto our CP. Our CP running Ironclad, Master Arms, Deadly Aim, and Focus Mending. I'm running Deadly Aim here just for more damage over time. Master Arms affects pretty much all our damage, so nice damage boost. Focus Mending here, since once again the Sorc lacks healing, I like to run Focus Mending to help me with my survivability. And Ironclad here, once again, just to help me with my overall survivability. Our red tree here running Sustained by Suffering, since there will always be a negative effect on you in PvP. This will be up 100% of the time. Pain Refuge, once again, there will always be a negative effect on you in PvP. Reduce your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects, up to a maximum of 20%. So this will stack up very quickly in PvP. Just keep that in mind, you will get a lot of damage reduction from the CP passive. Shield Master, this is an interesting one. This reduces the cost of your damage shield by 10%. So this actually gives you quite a bit sustained, since Hardened Ward is really expensive. As you can see here, even with this, it goes down to 4k. It's at 4k with the 10%. So without this Hardened Ward costs us 400 extra Magicka. So this does actually help your Magicka sustain by quite a significant margin, especially when you're spamming that shield. This allows you just to get more shields off with better sustain. Survival Instinct here, while affected with the status effect, your core combat skills will cost 25% less. Very good. Helps you with your stamina sustain immensely. If you are going to run Camouflage Hunter, do not run Shield Master, since you'll be dropping Hardened Ward. Instead, I recommend running Relentless here. Whenever being stunned or fear causes you to gain major protection for 3 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 10%. That's if you're not running Hardened Ward. I recommend running Relentless here over Shield Master. Alright, the way you want to play the build is you always want to make sure you have bait up. So make sure this line in between you and your opponent is always up. Then put your curse on him. Make sure you have critical surge up. This, and you just want to light attack crystal, light attack crystal, light attack crystal. Just light attack crystal, light attack crystal. Pretty much the rotation. And then when you have 4 bound armaments up, as you can see here, I have 2 swords above my head. And that will reach 4. This is going to want to. When it reaches 4, I like to reapply my curse stack. So just before curse is about to blow up, I streak through them. Use bound armaments here as a nice burst combo, and then we'll start light attacking with crystal weapon again. And when you have ultimate up, you do the same thing. You reapply Haunting Curse. Go into your streak just first. You go Haunting Curse into Meteor into Streak, and then Haunting Curse and Meteor will hit at the same time. And then you can use bound armaments with auto attack into Crystal. And while all that is going on, we'll also have an amazing amount of damage coming from Rel here. Just absolutely pumping your opponents full of damage with that insane like 70k damage a second dot. You don't want to allow your opponents to LOS you, that is very important, since if you're not auto attacking for 2 seconds, you will lose it, and that can be very detrimental damage. So I think this is a very hard build to run. But once you get it down, it is very enjoyable just watching your opponents melt from all the consistent pressure you're able to dump on them. If you guys did find this video helpful, it would mean a lot to me if you like, like, and subscribe. And with that, I hope you guys did enjoy the video.